The film, which marks the start of the final battle against the demon Musen Kibitsuji, opens at what should have been the Demon Slayer core moment of victory. As the Hashira aim to deliver a final blow to the immobilized Musen, the ground literally disappears beneath them. The entire core, and many others part of the organization, are plunged into the Infinity Castle, an infinitely sized, constantly shifting, surreal parallel dimension where up is down and down is up. This elaborately designed fortress is a constantly rearranging space created by the demon Nakaim, upper rank 4 with her demon blood art, cued by the strumming of her biwa. Scattered and disorganized, the demon slayers, including Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Shinobu, and the Hashira, must continue their frantic search for the injured Musen while facing off against every living demon, particularly the terrifying upper rank adversaries. The film is universally praised as a visual marvel and a kinetic spectacle, and I couldn't agree more. I feel like almost every frame can be used as a background for your computer or cell phone. The animation studio Ufotable flawlessly marries 2D hand-drawn digital animation and CGI elements, making for a visually striking experience. There's no comparison between the CGI used in Mugen Train and this one. The combat sequences are gorgeous and inventive. It is one of the most fun and dynamic battle sets I have ever witnessed. If you thought it was good in the manga version, it's even better animated. The presentation is also bolstered by fantastic music, with the score and new songs from artists like Queen Lisa and Aimer perfectly matching the visuals and emotionally enhancing the dramatic and dynamic moments. Despite being dropped into a complex, late-stage story arc, some reviewers felt the film was surprisingly accessible even to newcomers, making them want to go back and experience the series from the beginning. I had the opportunity to go with two people who had not read the manga, nor are they willing to read it, yet they understood everything, so I don't think the story, even at this stage, is difficult to follow at all. We also finally had the climax of Zenitsu and Shinobu's arcs, and the complete backstories that drive them and make them who they are. Both of them hurt, but being a Shinobu fan, of course I'm biased about which one was slightly better. The movie contains 3 major, bloody showdowns. Shinobu versus Dama, sometimes better known as Upper Rank 2. This fight was an intense and personal duel that made me suffer in the manga. It made me feel a little worse animated because you could actually hear, the characters struggling. Zenitsu versus Kaigaku, if I'm not mistaken, he's upper rank 6 or something like that. All in all, this was a tragic family feud between rival thunder-breathing swordsmen and a fight for the overall legacy of this style. Tanjiro and Jiu versus Akaza, upper rank 3 and my favorite demon in the entire series. This was the most promoted fight, and I feel like maybe the producers favored Akaza too. After all, his story is nothing short of heart-wrenching. And I must say, while that gut-wrenching feeling was present in both the manga and the anime, the latter omitted a couple of things that diminished the pain. Not much, but I just wished we had all the context so that connection would have been able to create a greater impact. Throughout the film, there's an unflinching sense of danger and tension, since we're in the lair of a powerful enemy, which is repleted with his minions. For those who haven't read the manga, this is a gamble because there's no way to know who's going to live or die, keeping that tension alive until the very end. I gotta applaud the scenes where they featured background characters who were part of this huge fight as well. They're as important as the main characters, if not more. Some people call them irrelevant and might not care too much about their presence, but man, from the crowds to the little kids, to characters like Murata, everyone played a part in the most important fight between humanity and demons. The most significant criticism of the film is its structural flaw and resultant pacing issues. Clocking in at 155 minutes, over 2.5 hours, the film feels long due to a predictable and exhausting pattern. A battle begins and reaches a critical juncture. It is interrupted by a lengthy flashback, sometimes lasting 10 minutes or more. The flashback provides a character's backstory or imparts essential knowledge for the fight. The action then resumes. This structure is repeated multiple times, which critics argue constantly undercuts the action, interrupting the exciting flow with a completely different, jarring tone. It also gives the audience little time to digest the genuinely emotional content of the backstories, making the entire film feel like someone is pausing too much while explaining stuff you don't want to know in that precise moment. However, that's essentially what Demon Slayer has been from the very beginning, so if something wants to be criticized, I think it would have been the main source since it follows that same structure. A structure which I had issues with, especially in the Swordsmith Village arc, because those flashbacks, at some point, were getting out of control and cut off the nice flow of several battles. So, while I partially agree, once again, we would have to criticize the main source because the movie isn't at fault. Some demons are inherently bad within this world, and their flashbacks might not be longer than 5 or 10 minutes, but there are others whose reasons are longer, and Akaza's backstory is an example of that. It wasn't as easy for him to make this decision. Heck, it wasn't even a decision. While the purpose of Dama's story was to get to know him superficially, Akaza's was to not only understand but sympathize with him. Two very different things that need different methods of storytelling in order to be effective. For the reviewers that would prefer to get the story as a TV anime instead of the movie, I'm pretty sure the same thing that happened with Mugen Train will happen with Infinity Castle. I bet they're going to re-release this as a series, and maybe the animators will be kind enough to expand on some of Akaza's backstory, or expand onto other matters. That way they can make it more digestible for people who had the pacing issues. Overall, Infinity Castle was a fun time. It was gorgeous to look at, and I loved the music they used. And I simply cannot wait for the second installment. Did you hear that? I cannot wait. Without wanting to spoil anything, one of my favorite battles is taking place in that film. I hope they can do it justice. Did you watch Infinity Castle? And if so, what did you think about it? I tried to be as vague as I could, so please keep that same energy in the comments.